Tell me the first thing you think about when you hear February. Love, relationship, Valentine's Day. It's always a day to celebrate a relationship with another person, an intimate relationship. And today I want to talk about the intimate relationship I would love for us to have with ourselves first. I'm going to read a verse from the Bible that inspired my train of thought today. It comes from Matthew 22, verse 37. It says, "You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment." So it got me thinking. He could have just said, love God. Love God well. Love God hard. Love God passionately. There is something about differentiating the different ways that we love God. With our heart, with our soul, with our mind, there is a different flavor to each expression. It's interesting that it's so important that he pointed it out specifically. And I draw my inspiration from the way God loves. His love is perfect. I haven't experienced unconditional love like God's. So I'm constantly aspiring to love like he does. I fail most of the time. But I keep drawing inspiration and working at it every day. So thinking about ourselves, if we are made in God's image and this is the kind of love he desires from us, that means we have all these different ways to communicate love that all together paint a beautiful, honest expression of who we are. He knows what we're capable of. This is why he draws it out of us when he says, this is the way to love me. Likewise, we are to love each other the same way. I think the thing that gets missed when we're loving others is we forget sometimes to love ourselves the same way. So I want to propose 3 ways for you to consider when you're thinking about how to love yourself well. Before we even begin talking about how to love ourselves well, it would be interesting to find out what you think about the idea of loving yourself. When you think about loving yourself, what's the first word that comes to your mind? Do you think that is healthy? Do you think that is weird? Do you think it's selfish, self-centered, spoiled? Take a minute to think about that, because it will color the way that you proceed to love yourself. Oftentimes, we'll love our bodies. We will maybe treat ourselves to good food or get a massage or take a dance class or something that feels indulgent, or we'll sleep in. It'll feel good, but then there might be a little nagging feeling. Just like, why doesn't this feel like it's filling up my tank? Consider, am I loving my heart? Am I loving myself from my heart? And this means, am I taking into consideration what I'm feeling? How am I interacting with my emotional space? I find that this is the area that is most often neglected. This is an area that we often dismiss or minimize. And then it just kind of feels like a heart sore, like a wound, like something from the inside that just hurts. And can't put your finger on it. Like, I'm just not happy. A good way to begin to love yourself from your heart is to learn the practice of self-validation. This means that you are okay with your own feelings first, before you need anyone else to assure you or encourage you or love on you or listen to you or understand you. You taking the time to understand yourself. Why do I feel this way? Why does this matter to me? Why does this hurt so much? Why does this tickle me pink? Why does this make me so happy? Just the act of understanding, being aware and understanding, just that, you'd be surprised how loving it feels. And that's a gift you can give yourself. And then we love ourselves with our minds. That means taking care of our mental space, understanding what triggers our anxieties when our thoughts are racing and we're feeling insecure and unsafe, understanding how to self-soothe in those moments rather than numbing. The third way that I'm learning to love myself is to love myself with all my soul. This means, I asked Zion the other day, what do you think soul means? He said, Zion is my son, I think it's the most truest part of you. I thought that was a pretty spot on description. And why this is tricky is that most of us don't understand our authentic identities. We are living through a projected mask, who we want the world to think that we are. We don't often get past the mask to do the work, to discover who we are. If we are loving ourselves these 3 ways, our tank will most likely always be overflowing, so that we are not necessarily needing someone else to fill our tank or to make us feel worthy and valuable. So my challenge to you this month, before we get to Valentine's Day, is to identify 3 ways that you can love yourself before you express your love or receive love from someone else.
Wera wa kuti modiru